Rip.
National Radio Day is August 20th, Wednesday, the invention of radio. And I just happen to have somebody who's been on the radio a long time, Gabriel Mark Hasselbach. Hello.
Hi, Dino. How you doing? I love hearing your radio show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I know you got the voice for it, and you got the patter down, and you got the demeanor. It's kind of like a bedside manner. You have a good one.
You're so charming.
Thank you.
Let's get into you. Now, you've been around radio for a long time. What was the whole experience like when you first started hearing radio before you even got to be on radio?
Ooh, good question. Well, I was a little bit of a science nerd when I was younger, and even though Marconi was credited with creating radio, I mean, there was a whole team of people over a number of years, but he gets the credit, the top bill. He's the gold ribbon, not the bronze one. So anyway, have you ever heard that expression, hi everybody out there in Radio Land? Well, that's been going on for 150 years or more. And radio was the main entertainment thing for years and years, especially in the US and Canada. People would sit around the radio, listen to plays and music and everything. That was the entertainment thing. And it really is not the focus of it now, of entertainment for families and stuff, but it still has a lot of value. And for me, when I was younger, I used to lie under the covers when I was like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, lie under the covers at night when I was supposed to be asleep and listening to broadcasts from New York, Chicago, St. Louis, all these places, because I lived in Denver, Colorado. And that place is a mile high and really close to the ionosphere. So those radio waves would bounce right off of the ionosphere, and I could get on a little 7 transistor radio. I was able to get all these stations, and I used to listen to all the jazz greats. I can't even, mostly organ trios and stuff like that. So that really inundated me in jazz, and I think that started the ball rolling. When I was in high school, I had all the books, jazz books out of the library. They had really good ones. I got to really know the artists and just had a really great time in visualizing that. And radio really got me started into music, and I really haven't stopped, I guess.
So now you've heard radio before you. Now comes you getting into the music industry, and eventually you get on radio. What was that first experience like?
Well, I've been on radio in a few different ways, sometimes more in the last 20 years as a leader, but before that as part of other ensembles like the Powder Blues. I was one of the original members in Powder Blues. Some people remember them or not. That was a big band in the 80s in Canada. We had Junos and platinum records and tours everywhere in Canada and Europe and everything. And I heard our tunes there a lot, but I was just a team player back then, so I could hear my trumpet popping through and part of a section and stuff, and that was pretty neat, because I finally got out of of being the hot shot on the block. Now I was a hot shot in Canada, and that actually led to in 81 and 82, the Junos had an award they were offering. It was sponsored by Technics. Technics was like electronics, keyboards and stuff. And the Technics All-Star Band Award, and it was like a reader poll. So when you go to the record store, they'd ask who, if you could put a super band together in Canada, who would it be? Now this is all because people hearing like Powder Blues on the radio, and actually that's when I released my first solo album, Solar Winds. But they had a reader's poll, and I won it both years for trumpet. Mo Coffin won it both years for sax. I don't know if you guys know who Mo Coffin is, but he was like the preeminent sax player in Canada, sax and flute. And he had a top 40 hit in 1955 with a flute song, Swingin' Shepherd Blues. But the other band members were current guys that were happening. One year it was Burton Cummings, and then one year it was Neil Young and Spider Seneve, and some of the guys from Rush. Geddy Lee one year. So that was a super band that virtually I was a part of. So I like having that honor, but that was all because of radio. That's the only reason I'm saying that is that's where people heard it. And when you're living out there in Canada and you can maybe buy records, maybe not, and you can maybe see the band when they come through town or maybe not, at least they could hear it on the radio. And that's one thing I have to give CBC even a nod to, because they reach a lot of people out there that normally wouldn't hear anything. So radio plays a really important part in people's lives, I think.
So fast forward, there was a moment when you first heard one of your solo songs on the radio.
Well, you know, for those who don't know, Wave 98.3 here in Vancouver is the, I don't know if it's the cousin, the sister, the spawn, the partner, whatever, of Wave 94.7 in Ontario. Now that has been around a long time. I used to put on the award shows and everything. Even honored me with the Album of the Year award in 2011, Instrumentalist of the Year. But that entity there was my first appreciation of jazz in Canada, or smooth jazz, or whatever you want to call it, groove jazz. And there was no other place like that. And they had a really strong influence on me. And they broke my very first Canadian hit, which was "Take That."
So that was
that was when I first heard my thing on the radio, and I went, "Holy shit, I've arrived!" You know, I mean, small things sometimes mean a lot when you're getting going. Anyway, that song's still around, part of my performance catalog, and still plays here at 98.3 here at the Wave. Take That, and that's on one of my earlier albums. But when I heard that on the radio, man, I was pretty thrilled. It was one of those woohoo kind of days, you know.
Future of radio. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's made radio more relevant for people is radio apps on their phone. Because you get out of a reception area in your car or whatever in your home, and you may not be able to hear what your favorite station, whatever it is. You can scroll through a bunch of stuff around home and get tired of it and turn on the TV. But with a radio app like there's Radio Player Canada and TuneIn, and there's other ones too, you're able to get really clear radio signals from pretty much anywhere in the world, but I focus on Wave 98.3 here in Vancouver, and put some headphones on or not, just have music playing on your phone, and it's clear as a bell, and it's more clear than you can imagine coming to you. It's just amazing. So that's going to make, well, is already making radio more relevant to people, because it's easy to access in a good way, in a good, clear, effective way. So radio probably has a bright future. Plus, the other thing is, radio brings you news at the same time. The local news gives you traffic and stuff like that, and it mixes up the format. Like Wave 98.3 here does a really good job of mixing the format, because I like contemporary jazz, and I know a lot of people do, but not everybody wants a constant diet of that, right? So you get a chance to hear some cool old Motown, or something current that somebody else is doing. There's a lot of fresh new artists out there. They just have a smooth groove that's really, really, really enticing. Vocals and instrumentals, and it's just a good way to get introduced to new music, and a lot of it's local too. So you get a chance to find out who's playing in your city and what they've got, and you pair that with either going on the Wave 98.3 website, which is one click on your phone, and seeing who you just listened to, or using Shazam on your phone. And Shazam works pretty good too, because it recognizes it, even while it's playing on the radio, it'll recognize it right on your phone and take you to Apple Music. So if you decide you want to hear the rest of the album, or buy the track, or stream it, or whatever, you can just click one button and there it is on your phone. You got a whole chance to listen to it. You can delete it later if you don't, but you learn about new artists all the time, and I think that's